Let's talk Minnesota history. On the day after Christmas in 1862, the United States government executed 38 Dakota warriors. This is the largest mass execution in U.S. history. Just 3 years later, 2 additional Dakota warriors were also executed. This is all a result of the U.S. Dakota War and the U.S. efforts to remove all indigenous peoples from Minnesota territory. There's a lesser known part of the story that I want to share. It's the tragic events that unfolded at Fort Snelling. This is a dark and genocidal history. After the war ended, over 1,700 Dakota women, children, and elders were confined to a concentration camp just below Fort Snelling. The place is also known as Pike's Island. This area, which is sacred to the Dakota people, witnessed unbelievable suffering. Throughout the winter, as many as 300 Dakota people died. This was part of a broader U.S. policy to eliminate all indigenous peoples. In 1863, the United States voids all treaties with the Dakota. Congress also passes laws banishing the Dakota from their ancestral homelands. It's basically illegal to be indigenous in Minnesota. The state also places scalp bounties on all Native Americans. The state would pay as much as $200 for every Dakota scalp. Even Little Crow, who initially led the rebellion, was killed on July 3rd in 1863. His scalp was taken and his body was mutilated. His remains would be on display all the way until 1971. Also, the Ho-Chunk people, who had nothing to do with the war, were forced to leave Minnesota territory. While the Dakota are dying in this concentration camp, missionaries are coming in an effort to Christianize these people. This is just sickening. In May of 1863, the United States government forced the remaining Dakota people at Fort Snelling to a concentration camp at Crow Creek. They were loaded onto steamboats and removed from their ancestral homelands. For years, Minnesota militias and volunteers hunt and kill Dakota people in an effort to completely remove them from the state. It's ethnic cleansing and an act of genocide. Let's honor those who survived this genocide and continue to educate ourselves about the devastation of settler colonialism. Feel free to share the video and let me know your thoughts in the comment section.